Hello and welcome. My name is Ben Hales from Transform My Poker, and today I'm going to talk about 3-bet shoving, which is a technique that can win you a lot of money. There's so much money left on the tables by people not 3-bet shoving optimally. So I'm going to teach you how to get better at this and how to learn optimal ranges. If you're a cash game player, this is going to be of less benefit. Obviously, you're playing deep stacked and you don't get opportunities to 3-bet shove. But you'll still find this interesting, so please watch on. And if you're a tournament player as well, this is just gold. This is the kind of thing, the kind of technique that can make a massive difference to your bottom line. The way I'm going to do this is a few slides to start with, as of course, and then I'm hopefully going to have enough time to run through a quick example of how to do this analysis. It's pretty specialized stuff and you're going to like it. Good. So I'm going to assume that for all of you who want to go on and study 3-bet shoving, you've got at least a basic grounding in the push-fold game. So you know roughly which hands you should be pushing and folding at 0 to 12 big blinds. The reason I think this is important is because in order to understand 3-bet shoving ranges, it's kind of important to have a grasp of which hands you should be playing at 0 to 10, 0 to 12 big blinds. All right. So this is a natural thing to study next. And for turbo tournament players in particular, I think that studying 3-bet shoving is extremely useful and is going to offer you a big edge in a game without many edges. What is 3-bet shoving? Well, let's be clear on that. It's re-raising all in over an initial raiser. That should be self-explanatory. We're usually going to be doing it at stack depths of 10 to 25 big blinds, roughly. And the purpose of this is to learn how to build optimal 3-bet shoving ranges. That's what we're trying to achieve with our study, or at least get as close to optimal as possible. Now, what you're going to see on this slide is my personal list of questions to guide me through 3-bet shoving and how to tackle an individual situation. So first up, I'm going to ask myself, what's the situation in the tournament? Because this is kind of the ICM factor. Am I putting pressure on my opponents, or am I under a lot of pressure? Ask those two questions. So am I under ICM pressure, or can I apply ICM pressure to my opponents by shoving? This is often going to have a dramatic impact on our 3-bet shoving range. The second question is the effective stack size. For anyone who doesn't know how to work out what the effective stack size is, go away and learn that first, because this is essential. You can't hope to make smart choices without understanding which stack is the effective stack size. We're basing a lot of our decision making on this fact. The next thing I want to know is my position on the table. And my fourth question is, can I fold, can I call? I just want to ask these questions to remind myself that, you know, if folding's an option, maybe I should take it. And if calling's an option, which hands would I call with here? Should I build a calling range as well as a 3-bet shoving range? That might sound really complicated and difficult to do at the table, but if we practice doing it off the table, we can start to do this at the table. We can start to picture, oh, okay, in this spot, this is my calling range, this is my 3-betting range. It's possible to do. So it's a good checkpoint to have. Can I fold? Can I call? I like asking those questions. The fifth point is about active opponents. You know, who's left in the hand? Am I on the big blind and there's just one raiser? Then 3-bet shoving is looking pretty attractive because I've only got to make one person fold. But if there's lots of players sat still to act, then, 3-bet shoving, it becomes a lot more risky, and perhaps we should be calling or folding and not 3-bet shoving with quite so many hands. Number 6, as we move over to the right-hand side of the screen, opener's range. Vital question to be asking. Our 3-bet shoving range is going to depend very much on our opener's range. So we're going to be 3-bet shoving with a smaller percentage than his range, perhaps half his hands or 30% of his hands, we're going to be 3-bet shoving, okay? So it's important to look at his range, and that's going to help us to forge our own 3-bet shoving range. How much fold equity do we have is a really useful question to ask. So if I shove all in here, how often will he fold? If you can get a rough answer to that, 50% of the time, 80% of the time, never, that's going to help you make your decision. And if you are good at doing maths at the table, you might be able to calculate, all right, I've got this amount of fold equity, I've got that amount of showdown equity, and I might be able to actually work out roughly what my expected value is if I 3-bet shove here. Now, that might sound, a little far-fetched to be able to do that in a minute at the table, but if you practice it, it's not impossible. It is feasible to be doing EV estimates in real-time spots. So for those of you who think you're pretty smart with arithmetic, this is not impossible. For those of you who find it very tough, don't worry, it's not an essential thing. But if you can do the mathematics here, it can give you a significant edge. Okay, on my final slide, I want to make clear that Holdem Resources Calculator is your ideal tool for studying. Using this tool, you're going to discover your optimal 3-bet shove ranges. You can do so by using your real hands and loading them in there, or you can make ones up, and you're going to see what effect ICM has on optimal ranges. Let's do a quick example. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the hand I've chosen to analyze with you. As you can see, we've got a raise from early position, and we're sat in the small blind with 15 big blinds. And I'm going to imagine this is a final table situation. So there's some fairly intense ICM at work, okay? What should I be 3-bet shoving with, and what should I be folding? So the fact that I've got ace queen suited is kind of irrelevant, because what we're trying to do here is define our exact 3-bet shoving range. Now, you might decide you want to have a calling range here. At 15 big blinds, it's possible for you to flat call with some hands, and that might include ace queen suited. However, what I've done is I've asked Holdem Resources Calculator to simply tell us which hands are we 3-bet shoving, which hands are we folding. And these are the results. So what you see in front of you is the raiser's range that I've assigned for him to raise from under the gun +1. And as you can see, I've chosen a 10% range. You may disagree. You may think he's raising with more or fewer hands. That's okay. I didn't look at his HUD statistics. If you're playing live and you've got a concept that a player's playing more hands, then of course you assign a wider range. And if you think that they're playing really, really tight, you might go with a tighter range of cards. But this is a reasonable range to choose. And our 3-bet shoving range is 5.5%. As you can see, even ace queen suited is not coming out particularly profitable. It's making a small profit, as is ace jack suited, but then ace 10 suited no longer. King jack suited, king queen suited, just about profitable, interestingly. And pocket pairs, well, not really. So you're going to need 10-10 and better to be in profit. And not a huge range of hands that you should be 3-bet shoving. So the example I chose was against a tight early position raiser, but you could choose a raiser from the button, raising with a really wide range, and you're going to get some really interesting results. This is a tool that I highly recommend tournament players purchase if they want to do some serious work on their pre-flop ranges. My name is Ben Hales with Transform My Poker. I really hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did, give it some Facebook likes. If you got any questions, comments, please do your stuff in the boxes below and I'll get back to you. Thanks very much for listening.